everyone, we are back. Welcome to another season of Instant Replay where I give you my take on the most controversial calls of the weekend. I'm Simon Borg. We kick off week 1 in Portland with the hard-fought scoreless draw between the Timbers and Real Salt Lake. How intense was it? Well, check out what happens in the penalty box ahead of this 53rd minute corner kick. Portland's Liam Ridgewell pushes Jamison Olave, and then the Colombian comes back with what looks like a blow to Ridgewell's midsection. Tough to tell how bad it was from this angle, but Ridgewell thought enough of it to pull up his shirt for referee Ismael Elfat. No sanctions for either player. Ridgewell did see yellow 3 minutes later for what looks like a bit of a reckless kick-out at RSL's Alvaro Saborio on this header. Pretty unconventional technique if you ask me, and in my opinion, Ridgewell's lucky the punishment isn't even more severe. Next, to Houston for Dynamo versus Crew, and there was an argument made on the broadcast that this play in the 57th minute perhaps should have resulted in a second yellow for Crew defender Emmanuel Pogatetz. No foul was called because referee Alan Chapman, as you can see here, extended both arms and granted the advantage. Now, Dynamo head coach Owen Coyle still wanted that Pogatetz challenge punished with a card, but when we look at the replay, I don't see much contact at all. I think it was a good decision by Chapman to keep his cards in his pocket on that one. But I'd argue Chapman should have shown red for this 77th minute foul by Tony Chani on the Dynamo's Leonel Miranda. Chani goes over the ball with his studs exposed right into Miranda's shin. Chani gets by with only a yellow. Next, to RFK Stadium where the Montreal Impact wanted a potential match-tying penalty kick in the 76th minute for a Connor Doyle handball on the goal line. We have 2 replays of this one, but none of the angles are conclusive. That being said, Doyle's arm appears to be tucked in and flush with his body. Referee Mark Geiger doesn't call a penalty, and I think he's right. Now, Geiger had another big decision to make earlier in the match in the 27th minute as DC's Jairo Arrieta hits the ground in the box. I know it might appear innocent enough, but looking at the replay, Hasun Kamara extends his arm and pushes Arrieta off the ball. And when I see a push-off like that, for me that's no longer a shoulder-to-shoulder situation. I would have gone penalty kick on that one. One of the biggest stories of this game was the injury suffered by Montreal's Justin Mapp in the 82nd minute. All the best to him on a speedy recovery. But there were some who thought this play should have also resulted in a penalty. I don't agree. Mapp gets his shot off, and the goalkeeper, defender, and Mapp wind up colliding together. No foul for me. For more penalty controversy, we go to BC Place, where Toronto's Robbie Findlay made an appeal to the ref in the 52nd minute. But no way is this a handball offense by defender Pa Moduka. His arms are tucked into his body. Now, TFC eventually earned a penalty in the 88th minute to put the game out of reach, and Ka was in the middle of that too. You see here how he scissors Jozy Altidore. Look at that trailing leg clipping Altidore from behind. Yet somehow there's still debate about whether it was a foul. Come on! Altidore takes the shot himself and applies, shall we say, the punctuation mark in a 3-1 season opening win. Just moments later, Darren Maddox thought he might have earned a penalty for the Whitecaps, also in stoppage time, but the Jamaican leaps over the tackle, takes a step, and then decides to fall. In my opinion, that's a good no call by referee Kevin Stott, who had also denied a previous Caps appeal in the 81st minute. Unlike the Kamara play on Arrieta that we showed you earlier, I think Toronto's Warren Creval, in red, has position on Vancouver forward Octavio Rivero and doesn't commit any infraction. Stott did well to stick with the goal kick. Moving to Toyota Stadium, where FC Dallas used a stoppage-time goal from Blas Perez to down San Jose. But just moments before, Dallas defender Walker Zimmerman was irate that Sean Francis didn't get whistled for a foul in the box. But it's impossible for us to tell if this was a PK from that angle. Referee Ted Uncle had to rule on another PK shot in this one. Dallas players and fans thought they saw a handball by San Jose's Jean-Baptiste Pierazzi on this cross from the right in the 52nd minute. But let's watch it closely. You see the ball goes off Pierazzi's back. Uncle got it right. No penalty. We got our first red card of the season on Saturday at PPL Park. It was Colorado's Bobby Burling who picked up a second yellow for a tactical foul in the 69th minute. The contact is minimal, but it's there, and Sebastian Ledoux hits the deck. Referee Silvio Petrescu has no choice but to send Burling off. I would argue there could have possibly been an even earlier sending off in this one in the 22nd minute. Newcomer Steven Vitoria looks like he brings down Gabi Torres, who's trying to latch onto a ball over the top. But Vitoria extends his arm to stop him. Now, is it denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity and therefore red card worthy? Well, it depends on your interpretation. I say Torres gets to the ball. But wait, I think there was a third incident worthy of an ejection in this game. It's the 81st minute, and look at this James Riley kick into the back of the Union's Andrew Wenger. I don't think I'm seeing things, but it looks like a karate kick to me. Petrescu just gives Riley a talking to, no card. Petrescu also didn't call what I thought was a penalty for the Philadelphia Union in the 32nd minute. You see how Fernando Aristeguieta is coordinating himself for a shot. but the slide by the Rapids' Michael Harrington trips him up. The referee says, "What penalty? Play on!" The Union wanted another PK just minutes into the second half, claiming that the Rapids' Dylan Cerna committed a handball in the box. But when I see the slow-mo, it looks like the ball jumps up on Cerna, who's trying to coordinate his body to react to the bounce. Did it perhaps touch his hand? Yes, but it's incidental. Cerna's not trying to gain an advantage or trying to redirect the ball. Petrescu doesn't call it, and I agree. To StubHub Center, where the champions LA Galaxy started the year with an easy 2-0 win over Chicago, and there wasn't much going on in the Fire attack. But there were 2 Fire penalty shouts within 5 minutes of one another, and they both involved forward Quincy Amarikwa. First, in the 58th minute, and with the score still tied 0-0, Amarikwa hits the deck on this challenge from LA's Robbie Rogers. Now, I think Rogers leans in a bit into Amarikwa, but it's a fair challenge, and he wins it. I think Amarikwa falls because he's trying to make a last-gasp lunge for the ball. Definitely not enough for a penalty kick, and referee Jair Marufro doesn't call it. Then, in the 64th minute, the game was still scoreless, and Quincy! No replay provided, and you know what? We don't even need one. The Seattle Sounders benefited from a PK call to open the scoring in their 3-0 win over New England, and there's no doubt about it. Clint Dempsey does a dance in the box, and Revs forward Juan Agudelo clips him. No-brainer, and Dempsey himself puts it away. To Sporting Park, where Kansas City captain Matt Besler got his marching orders for a second yellow in the 70th minute after this foul from behind on Bradley Wright Phillips. I think it's a good call by referee Baldomero Toledo, but it was also controversial because Toledo negated giving the advantage to the Red Bulls, who were still on the attack. Now, the Red Bulls had a player of their own who I thought risked a potential sending off. In the 7th minute, New York defender Ronald Zubar lunges for the ball, and he does it by going in studs up on Benny Feilhaber, arguably endangering the safety of his opponent. It happened right under the eyes of the referee, who doesn't feel the need to issue a card of any color. And we end in Orlando and the 1-1 draw between expansion teams in the Citrus Bowl. One of the big talking points was the straight red shown to Orlando defender Aurelien Collin for this brutal 83rd minute tackle on David Villa. And referee Alan Kelly did not hesitate. Red cards don't come much easier than that. But how about this for a debut? 3 Orlando City players received yellow cards for simulation during their inaugural match. First, it was Breck Shea in the box in the 28th minute. Then his teammate Kevin Molino goes flying near midfield in the 40th. And lastly, it's Cristian Higuita going down in the 78th. And if it was up to New York defender Chris Stringert, he'd have wanted Kaká in the books for going down a bit too easy on this 39th minute play. What do you think about the simulation calls? Do you think they were legit? Leave us your comments below, and until next week, for our editor Abner Aceves, I'm Simon Borg. I lost my voice. See you next time!